So I think he's trying to answer the question of why people can be wary of foreigners.
Yeah.
And one answer he gives here, I think he does it from a couple different views. So I'll just say one that he does here
Mm-hmm.
is he's saying that foreigners are unknown,
Mm-hmm.
and something that is unknown can be potentially dangerous
Yeah.
or undermine order as you know it.
Well, if you're a foreigner, so i.e. coming from a different country, you have different beliefs.
Right.
You grew up with a different governmental system, etc., etc., etc.
Probably.
Not to say that
depends,
it's
but
right, not to say that it's either inherently right or wrong, but to
Mhm.
say that it's different.
Yeah.
And that you don't really know anything other than that system. But perhaps you're coming from down south, and maybe they're like, I don't know how it works. You know more about politics than me. I know nothing about foreign politics, but this is my understanding.
Okay.
Drug cartel comes in, takes over the government. The government basically is the cartel,
Mhm.
and they put a lot of people's lives in danger. So that's what they know. So they go, oh, well, I want to go somewhere safe, and everybody's going to the United States. I want to go to the United States because if people are going there, they're going there for a reason. It's not just for kicks and giggles. It's probably a safe haven.
Mhm.
And given how many people talk about the rights and freedoms of the United States, and that like we're founded on life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, and that hasn't changed in over 250 years, sounds like a good deal to me. Are we at 255?
We're almost there.
Yeah.
It's
So
going to be 250 in 2026.
oh, okay. Oh, we were at 245 not too long ago. That's what I was thinking. So the problem is, it's not really a problem so much as it's just you have to understand that the person coming in has a different perception of everything.
Mhm.
So while they're like, this place is going to be better, they still only experienced one thing their whole life. And you can't blame them for that. We've talked about this. You can't blame somebody for having their personal understanding based on experience.
Mhm.
But that does not mean that that individual gets a free pass to try to change the system that is saving them, essentially.
Right.
You can't go in and change, because then you're changing it to not the system that's saving you anymore. You're changing it back to the system that you know, which is, a lot of people do it. Tradition. It feels comfortable. We want things of comfort, things that we know and we're used to. But it's accepting the unknown on their behalf and knowing that it's safe. Somehow it is safe. And accepting that unknown and learning from it and taking in the new things instead of saying, well, this isn't how it was, so I'm going to change it, which reverts the safety.
Mhm.
And that's like the huge problem.
And here's kind of the other side of it, according to Jordan Peterson
Mm-hmm.
as well. Other side of why it's not just a simple thing of like, we can change it.
Right.
He says, furthermore, the dissolution of culturally determined goals, which would, for us, maybe be life, liberty, pursuit of happiness.
Right.
The dissolution of culturally determined goals renders individual life, identified with those goals, meaningless and unrewarding in intrinsic essence. It is neither reasonable nor possible to simply abandon a particular culture, which is a pattern of general adaptation, just because someone else comes along who does things a different way, whose actions are predicated upon different assumptions.
Mm-hmm.
So exactly what you're talking about is that these are two, good or bad isn't part of the problem here.
Right.
These are two societies that have functioned completely different historically
Right.
with different presuppositions.
Mm-hmm.
So when they merge together, that requires fundamental changes,
Yeah.
which is part of the reason I believe that, and part of the naturalization process, when you're becoming a U.S. citizen, you have to learn so much about the United States,
Yeah.
is because there is a different history here and a different set of assumptions about the way that the world works
Yeah.
and different values that we have here.
Yeah.
And people that are going to be here should have to learn those.
Yeah, absolutely. And like, because we talked about this a while ago about how like multiculturalism is not good.
Mhm.
You're trying to blend two different cultures. Like you wouldn't go to Japan as a United States citizen and try to blend your culture with theirs. That's just exactly what you said. It's two different
Right.
ways of living to simplify it
Well, and
further.
usually the people that do go to Japan go there to experience
Experience-
Japanese culture.
Right. So why would people coming to the US or any country for that matter try to change the entire foundation of that culture? That defeats the purpose, and hence multiculturalism doesn't work, because you're just blending a bunch of wishy-washy ideas instead of going like, nope, this is the way it's been done.
And
This is the way it works.
that's not to say it can't be influenced by other cultures.
Right.
Obviously, I mean, the most obvious example is food.
Yeah.
Like
absolutely.
there's all sorts of ethnic popular foods in the United States,
but it's
but
like
it's not challenging the fundamental assumptions of the United States.
right. It doesn't challenge any like foundational principles that we live under.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I think experiencing other cultures is one of the coolest things you can do, because and it's a cool freedom that for the most part we have. I know some countries are very closed off to foreigners because, communism and dictatorships and wars, 100,000 reasons. But I mean, I'm kind of geeked out about like Japanese culture, because like I love Toyota, because Toyota has such a small margin of error. Their entire society lives in this idea of like small margins of error, so you're near perfection. The US has a much larger margin of error, which allows for a lot less like lower quality products. And that's not to say that all US made things are bad. It's just like, generally speaking, if you pick up a Ford truck and a Toyota truck, the Toyota is going to run longer, better, and just more reliable, because the engine's got a smaller margin of error. I think that's such a cool thing. But I would never go there and go, you guys need to change your margin of error, dude. Like, it's just too tight, man. You got to loosen up. No, I'm going there to experience that culture. And there's, I'm simplifying it. There's way more. There's other things that I'm very fascinated by and I'm interested in. But as an aspect, like, I wouldn't do that.
Right.
And nobody should do it to us either. That's not fair to them. Like, it doesn't work one way but not the other. That's hypocrisy. That's a double standard, So I just think people don't take that into consideration as much as they ought to.
Hey, I got another quote for you. Listener likes, comments, and subscribes down below. And if you understood any of my word salad, go ahead and click the link below for a full video and a 5-course meal. Thanks for watching.